cleaning the house one day. It's like this coat closet.
Yeah.
And I noticed this like knob on the floor, this like little crystal knob. And I'm thinking like,
Yeah.
oh, I've noticed that before, but I just thought it was like a fixture. I never thought to do anything about it. I decide to like move it, to lift it. It opens up this like floorboard to what looks like the only thing I can describe, like the barbarian-esque, like cement broken through wooden staircase leading into a dark, demonized hole. It's a vibe.
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Maximum Zach. On today's episode, we have Julia Henning. She's a consciousness coach. And, yeah, I didn't know what that was till now either. But, we really just dove into life and, you know, what, my core values are. We talked about, how to be happy and, you know, not hate yourself, I guess. It was pretty sick. And she also found a secret room in her house, which is pretty interesting. I want to stay around so you can hear about that. Kind of creepy. We're here with Julia Henning. How's it going?
It's going really well, my dear. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. So you're a life coach, and tell us about yourself.
Yeah, a life coach comes with like the proverbial sort of eye roll. So I've kind of like learned to adapt to the title depending on who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
I call myself a consciousness coach,
Okay.
but like the easy title is a life coach.
Okay.
I kind of consider myself mostly an entrepreneur. And under that, I've decided to take on the label of life coach, but I offer like relationship coaching, lifestyle coaching. But in all of those things, we're basically just up leveling and raising your consciousness. So like to me, the title kind of feels like a vibe, but for most people, yeah, I'm a life coach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that?
About 2 years. I actually came from the counseling world. So I got my master's in psychology a couple years ago,
Okay.
went into like the therapy world, started diagnosing people. And I was like, you know, it's a little too clinical. I kind of miss being able to like collaborate with people.
Yeah.
And I find that in therapy, there was kind of this limitation. I mean, ethically speaking, totally gets the job done. But when it comes to like truly seeing change in people, I realized that coaching offered that freedom. And I
Yeah.
got to bring a little bit more of myself into the mix. And so I got certified as a coach a couple years ago, and I've just been going ever since.
Oh yeah. So what does that look like different, like from just therapy to like coaching? Like what's like the main difference? Like if I was your client, like what would that look like for me?
So in therapy, okay, I have like a couple ways I explain this. I always say, like, depending on how like deep we're diving, I'm like, therapy is the window to the emotional conversation you need to have with yourself. It's kind of like the peek behind the curtain. Like, we want to get you aware of how you feel in therapy. It's why that whole question of like, how do you feel about that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
It's also really good if you're sort of experiencing kind of a deeper psychological or mental disorder, right? We want to really be able to diagnose the symptoms and treat them in a different way. So therapy is about a little bit more mental health side of things. And we also focus on the past in therapy. We're talking a lot about like how you got to where you are, you know, your childhood, that kind of thing. Coaching is very focused on the future.
Okay.
If therapy is like the manual, coaching is maintenance. We want to get you into action. We want to work on a goal. I want to, as your coach, basically inspire and motivate you to want to change. And together, we're kind of collaborating a little bit more. So it's a little less me just listening and receiving and a little bit more of me getting to kind of jump in and be like, hey, I'm going to call you out for that. Let's look at what's not working so we can get you inspired and motivate you to do the thing you say you want to do. Whereas in therapy, they kind of can't step in and sort of speak on certain things the way that a coach can. So I always say like coaching is like, you kind of hire me depending on what you need to become your best friend.
Okay.
I like to think of it that way. It's kind of the easiest way into how coaching relationship is different than a client-therapist relationship.
So like what kind of things do you like can you even say like what kind of things do you coach people like?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Totally depends on the person. I
Yeah.
have coached people through like breakups. So people who are like, hey, you know, I just broke up with somebody and I noticed that I keep repeating the same relationship pattern. I want this kind of relationship. Okay, so we will sort of work through all the reasons why mentally you've made those choices. And then I'm going to challenge you to start making some like actionable steps towards like talking to different kind of people, or maybe we're doing something, you know, more subconscious driven.
Mhm.
I've worked with people who want to create like expression portals, people who like, I really want to create like a blog or write a book or,
Mhm.
have a message on Instagram. So we're figuring out, okay, what do you want to say? What has meaning for you? And
Yeah.
why are you drawn to creating something? I've also worked with people who like literally just feel like, can I swear?
Yeah, of
They feel
course.
like they're fucking lost and they're just like, I
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck to do next. Like, I just feel like I
Yeah.
go to therapy and I just sit there and I vent about my feelings, but like nothing's changing. And I'm like, all right, so we know how
Mhm.
you feel about something. What do you want?
Yeah.
And my job is to basically kind of guide you and inspire you and keep you accountable so that like you don't feel shame or doubt
Yeah.
or get lost sort of on the path to whatever purpose it is you're being drawn to. If that makes
No,
sense.
that makes a lot of sense. No, that's cool.
Wait, I have to share this one thing with you
Yeah.
because I feel like
Okay.
you'll appreciate this. Okay, so when I work with women, and I'm gonna say or like female identifying, it's often a lot about sort of like purpose and kind of
Mhm.
what they're called to. When I work with males and male identifying,
Yeah.
a lot of the time it's sex oriented. So
Yeah.
it's very much about like, how do I attract somebody and also like please them?
Yeah.
How do I sort of, court a certain kind of partner? And how do
Yeah.
I sort of take care of a person a different way? So like the
Yeah.
relationship and attachment style, but really it goes across the board. I mean, I've worked with as many aspects of the human condition that we could probably think of. I've had a client who has come into my space and asked me for the help on that.
That's awesome.
It's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's a vibe. The only thing that I tend to be a little transparent about when working with people as a coach
Mhm.
is, again, I'm not a therapist, so I can't diagnose you and treat mental disorder. I can't, as much as sometimes I wish I could, I can't, prescribe you a medication.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to things like addiction,
Mhm.
I will be very open with a client and saying, I hope that you're also working with a therapist. We can
Yeah.
talk about some of these things and we can
Yeah.
kind of create a structure and a program, but I'm not liable
Yeah.
for whatever outcome comes that's associated with that
Yeah.
mental condition.
Mhm.
But otherwise, everything goes.
Hell yeah.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, I recently am like starting this health journey,
hmm
and I guess like how would you help me with that? Like just like 'cause I'm like trying to like just get healthy like in general. Mainly losing weight and then like just feeling like I don't know, just feeling better about myself, I guess.
Okay, so I would start us off in a couple different ways. The first thing I
Yeah.
would say is, what does being healthy mean for you?
Well, I think it's for me it would be just like being at like a weight that isn't like considered like obese, you
hmm
know? Just something that like is healthy for like I mean, I guess like I don't even know what that would be for my height. You know what I mean? But
Totally.
like just trying to get to that,
Yeah.
or somewhere near it. Like I lost a lot of weight once before.
hmm
In the lowest I went from being like 350 to 190.
Okay.
And being at 190 was like very like that felt great,
Yeah.
being around that felt good. I mean, even like a little bit higher than that wasn't bad. Like, that was
Sure.
it was just like in that area, that general area
Yeah.
is like a good spot. Like that's like really that's like the like healthiest that I know.
Totally.
But like being back around there seems good.
Okay, so what I would take from that, and the way that I talk about it in coaching,
Mhm.
I'm going to say we're going to mirror back
Mhm.
what you're saying to me. So I'm going to tell you what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that there's a number
Yeah.
that's associated with a vision of who you feel happy at, what
Mhm.
you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
So by having a number, let's say that's the goal.
Mhm.
I'm going to challenge you. We're going to go deeper. I'm going to say, okay, so if health to you means a number on the scale,
Mhm.
we want to go even deeper than that. I want to ask you to envision what is a healthy version of Zach that's not associated with a number, that's not
Mhm.
associated with a scale. What does it feel like internally? And I know that that's one of those things where it's like, oh gosh, she's making me ask me about my
Yeah.
feelings. But when you think about it or when you see it in your head, what does a healthy Zach feel like?
Um, like I feel like I would feel like energized, like
Yeah.
in a way. I wouldn't feel like exhausted from doing like normal things,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, oh, we're gonna go on a walk, like that sounds good, like that
Mm-hmm.
sounds awesome. That's not like
Totally.
a that doesn't like now if someone's like, oh, we're gonna go walk to this place, that sounds horrible, you know?
Yeah.
Or like things like that, like just like enjoying like things like that, I guess. Just feeling like I guess I feel like I could be like nicer to myself,
Mm,
like too,
yeah.
in
Yeah.
that like so I don't know.
You totally do know. You're saying
Yeah,
it right now.
yeah,
You want my help?
yeah,
I'm going to step in. Okay.
yeah.
What I'm hearing is that if I were in a healthier state of mind and a healthier physical physique,
Mhm.
I'd feel more capable.
Yeah.
I'd feel more energized, like you
Mhm.
said, and I'd feel more excited about life,
Mhm.
excited for living.
Yeah.
So what I would then do is say, okay, and wait, we can talk about it right now, but like, what are all the things you're not liking? When we identify what's not working or what doesn't feel good, it gives us a roadmap to identify what the opposite is, what would feel good. And then we want to sort of just pinpoint your behavior, your actions, and the way you're thinking about yourself in that direction.
Mhm.
So I would also say, okay, if you want to feel a little bit more, I'm also hearing free,
Yeah.
a little bit more free. We would then sort of look at, okay, well, what led you to the moment of accepting what's happening? And how can we inspire the idea that you're fully fucking capable?
Mhm.
You are fully capable. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to hear things a little bit differently and see what's possible
Yeah.
so that you understand at the end of the day that like one small action every day is
Mhm.
enough.
Yeah.
So tell me more.
About like just in
You're going on a health journey. What are
yeah.
we doing right now?
Right now, I mean like like towards that goal right now, I've been making sure I've been like doing cardio every
Okay,
day.
cool.
I recently like changed up like my whole like just diet,
Mhm.
and I'm like I had a bunch of meal preps and stuff like delivered
Good.
to the house right now. I'm not like against cooking stuff too that's like healthy, but like also right now I feel like it's the easiest transition into it where it's like all I have to do is heat it up,
Do
you know?
less. Do less.
Yeah.
Do what's easy.
So that's like the main reason for that.
Cool.
But yeah, so mainly just that, and like I'm uh not drinking like a bunch of energy drinks and like soda and stuff.
Hell
Mainly just
yeah.
drinking water. Like yeah, just a lot of water.
Does that feel easy or does that feel hard?
um it it doesn't feel like it's not like super hard actually. I mean like I don't know, I feel better drinking like I actually feel like just better overall just drinking water.
Hell
So
yeah.
but yeah, I mean like I do like miss like having like lots of caffeine
Mhm.
sometimes.
Totally.
Um but yeah, no, it's not been like horrible. Like
So, something I'm feeling intuitively about like maybe where you're at and what you're doing is you're setting up a great foundation, right?
yeah.
It starts with daily habits and like the things we
Mhm.
put in our body. If you're eating as well as you possibly can,
Yeah.
especially starting off in the beginning, you're drinking water and
Yeah.
you're doing cardio,
Yeah.
that's a huge lifestyle shift just in and of itself.
Yeah.
I would then add on to that after some time, what are we doing for your mind?
Yeah.
What are we doing for your heart? Because if your heart and your mind are sort of not also being challenged and sort of uplifted and celebrated in those body
Mhm.
changes, then at a certain point, that's when like people start to burn out. That's when people want to throw the towel in and be like, fuck, it's been like, I've been doing this for like 3 weeks or a month. I'm just like, I want to cheat. I want to
Yeah.
stop. I don't want to do this today. But if we kind of continue just turning the dial on the direction that you want to go just
Mhm.
a little bit every day, it just sort of inspires. Like, I'm hearing like an integration challenge would be great for you, where it's sort
Yeah.
of like every day as your coach,
Mhm.
you'd send me, let's say you send me a picture. Okay.
Yeah.
You take a picture of any moment. I mean, it could literally be like you're making coffee or something in the
Mhm.
morning. Let's say you are getting to your car and you see, it's going to sound so, I know, whatever,
Yeah.
but like you see a beautiful sunset or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just sort of like stops you for a minute and you feel kind of appreciative. I'd
Mhm.
say send me a picture of it. And I want
Mhm.
you to tell me, like, what do you think about that? What do you feel about that? And how does it integrate into you feeling healthier.
Mm-hmm.
And just having that kind of like accountability check with yourself,
Yeah.
it just kind of reminds you why you're doing this. The why is the thing that people often forget when they do big lifestyle changes like this. As your coach, I'm here to remind you, hey, babe, this is your why. And I got you. You need to call me at midnight and talk about it. All right, maybe I might not be awake, but for the most part, I usually am. And if I'm here for you, then we're just going to like brain dive everything that's coming up and getting in the way. Unlike your therapist, who's there to only kind of hold space for you for an hour each week, I'm there to kind of be like, hey, what's coming up tonight or what's coming up today?
Yeah.
Here's the block I'm hearing. Let's integrate into what feeling healthy feels like for Zach. Don't forget that. So that would be kind of like where I'd set. That's my vibe in terms of what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, that's so when you were saying just like about like what like I get you said it was like keeping like about my heart and my mind, I guess. Like so what would that look like? Like just like what would that look like about like changing like that, I guess, you know?
I would personally go deeper into having you visualize. I'm already doing it. My eyes are closing. I'm like, I
Yeah.
would put you into a somatic practice, which is basically like a body practice where it would be like visualization. People say meditation. I don't
Yeah.
always like, if I'm being honest, I mean, I'm a woo-woo person myself. I'm spiritual and all that shit. I got the tattoos, the crystals,
Yeah.
all that. But I'm also digestible with presenting that. I say meditation, all that is
Yeah.
just closing your eyes and breathing. And when you have somebody there to kind of hold your hand through it, it's not the whole sitting on a rock for like 30 minutes a day and like
Yeah.
practicing Zen. It's just slowing down. So
Yeah.
mentally, I would have you visualize, like, when were you the happiest in your life? When were you the most fulfilled? Where were you? What were you doing? What did you look like? How did you feel?
Yeah.
Who was around you? Who was supporting you? I'd get you to sort of feel that you've already experienced the thing that you're looking for. And we just want to remember and get back to that.
Yeah.
Because our brain, our amygdala, the fight or flight part of us that keeps us protected, will be reminded, hey, it's safe to remember that you are capable of making a really big change. So we want to keep in the mind space, hey, this is possible. You are capable. We believe in you. And here's a mental image and an actual blueprint of what that healthy version of you looks like.
Yeah.
Now your heart can be different depending on who you are. I like to get to know someone a little bit more before I go straight into the heart of a person.
Yeah.
But I would like want to know, you know, what brings you joy? What freaks you out? And the more I know about that, the more I can kind of ask, like, well, what's your love language? How do you like to be supported? Some people like a kick in the ass. Some people like a lot of hand holding.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a good blend of both. I mean, I have a very calming presence. At least I'm told. I can't believe I just said that as if like I own that like personality trait. I'm very easy to talk to. No, but I am. And I know that. That's why I'm in this job. But I also know how to say something direct and honest without offending somebody because most people really what they want is to just hear the truth.
Yeah.
So my job is to sort of say, the truth lies in you. And if you trust me, I can kind of ask you questions that re-invoke the passion in your heart for wanting to be alive. And if you don't want to be alive, if you don't want to be a human, then there's no point in doing any of this work at all. There's no point in changing. So we just want to get to the core of what does being alive mean for you? And I would do that through, I mean, again, it depends on the person. Like some people really like writing stuff. Some people like talking about it. Some people like visualization. Some people, I just do questions and we just kind of keep going until something clicks. Some people I'm like, music. I want you to send me a playlist of 5 songs that just rip your freaking heart open. What movies do you watch to feel something? Where do you cry? You know, where do you like to go to feel good? And once we kind of get those clues, we then can kind of uncover, okay, so how have you gotten so far away from the thing that makes you feel good about living to the point where maybe you hate yourself? Maybe you don't like what you do. Maybe you're not down with your own choices. We just are basically taking off all the layers to get to the core of what does your heart need today to stay in the game?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like to admit that. A lot of people do not like to be vulnerable. Everybody's embarrassed and ashamed and shy when they're going through something challenging or when they're changing. I'm there to be like, yo, I'm your permission slip. You get to be whatever the hell you need to be to up-level your life. It's not about what I think, it's about what you think. And my job is just to remind you that what you think of yourself has the potential to be the best relationship you can possibly be in. That's what I would
That's awesome.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like
Did I leave you a little speechless? What if am I saying that like out of love? I say that too because
yeah.
sometimes it's sort of like you kind of get presented with a roadmap. And I've worked with, most of my clients kind of do sort of go, whoa, that sounds like an entryway into something I hadn't considered, or it kind of sounds like, yeah, that sounds nice. And they sort of then offer up to me like themselves. They kind of
Yeah.
say, take me down the road. Like I surrender.
Yeah.
And I think the choice and ability to surrender to the process, whatever that process is going to be, is a huge thing and a huge like act of courage. It's like truly the biggest leap of faith that I think the client takes with their coach. And I would say that that moment of sort of being speechless is kind of also, not to say that you were, but
yeah.
kind of that moment of being like, whoa, that's not necessarily what I was expecting. And now I'm a little more open-hearted and a little more open-minded. And that's where we want to like hopefully get you to be.
Yeah. What should I do next to like continue like on my goal? I want like sort of what I'm thinking like right now.
I would say, again, it kind of depends on what exactly you want to feel next. So I'm not a health specialist. I'm not a nutritionist. I would say if we were working together, I would kind of be like, okay, tell me like everything. Let's get all the details on the regimen. Like when are you working out? How much? Are you working with a trainer? Are you talking to a nutritionist?
Yeah.
What's going into the meals? I want to like have all the information on what you already are doing. I would then just be like, what do you want to do next? Do you want to be, where do you want to see the changes show up? If it's just about losing weight, right? And it's just about like lowering that number, then I would probably say what comes next is like, let's look at your routine. Let's look at your schedule. Let's look at what's happening every day. What are your daily habits? Because your habits are going to link right to your value system.
Yeah.
We want to get clear on your values. What are your 5 core values? Everyone thinks that we all possess all of them at all times. That's not true. We all have 5 core values that we can hold at a given time. If every single thing you're doing in your life, and you think about it, your job, your hobbies, who you're hanging out with, like what you do for fun, what you do when you're alone, if those things are not all connected to your 5 core values, then something's out of alignment. So I would want to get clear on what's out of alignment in your life.
So everyone has like the same 5 core values?
No, everybody has different ones. There's like a master list of values that we all have. Everybody wants to be kind. Everybody wants to be, generous for the most part. But like my 5 core values: service, community, expression, generosity, and they change over time. But I would say probably at this point in time, it would be, I'm going to say, I was going to say solitude, but I don't know if I want to say that out loud. I'm going to say gratitude instead. But again, those evolve as you evolve. Every single thing I do, my career, my job, the people I hang out with, the choices I make every day, they're all attached to those values. Yeah. So we want to get clear on your 5 core values. What if you took those out, you wouldn't be you.
Yeah.
So we want to get clear on what makes you you, and then look at everything that's going on in your life, everything you're choosing, everything that's around you, and saying, which value is this serving?
Yeah.
And where in your life is your value the least showing up? That's where we want to start. So I would say, like, if in your job, like let's just say candor, respect, kindness, generosity, community, in your job, all those things show up, or at least 2 or 3. Okay, we can probably kind of like leave that to the side. But let's say in, let's just say health. Are your values showing up in health? And what I would probably guess is in some ways they're not.
Yeah.
And so we'd want to get clear on like which value wants more attention when it comes to health, and which values can we kind of celebrate and champion that already exist. Then from there, I would break down, again, what do you want to do next?
Yeah.
Do you want to have a practice every week where like you do something healthy, but it feels different than going to the gym? All right, then I'm going to give you a challenge. I'm going to be like, okay, I want you to wake up every day at, 8 a.m. and I want you to walk for 1 mile somewhere you've never been before.
Yeah.
That's just like a new kind of like I was gonna say interesting and innovative way to evoking a healthy practice, but also getting you to sort of like, let's say your value is like adventure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pump it up a bit. So I would say, what do you do next? Identify your values. Look at the vision you want for the life, like truly the bigger vision. Where do you want to be in 6 months? Where do you want to be in a year?
Yeah.
Where do you want to be in 5 years? And if we're focusing on 6 months, okay, what do you want to be doing for 6 months? Do you just want to wake up, work out, eat healthy, and call it a day? All right, well, let's make that fun somehow.
Yeah.
If you want to add something else into the mix, I'm going to collaborate with you in terms of what do you want, Zach? Because the health journey, you could totally go to a specialist and be like, this is what you're going to do for 6 months. Buy the book, follow this formula, you're going to lose weight. If you want a lifestyle change, I'm going to talk to you about like, what do you want to see in your lifestyle that you don't have right now? I think it's just having more conversations about what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want like what I want just I just want to feel like good about myself, I guess. And I like the main thing I really want to do in life is just like entertain people, you know?
Totally.
And I feel like without like pretty much without like taking care of like my health, like I just need to like I'm not gonna be able to do that. And I feel like there's other, if I don't take care of my health,
Yeah.
and that's that's more like that's really like the main thing right now is like the thing I like to do the most is like entertaining people, and it's just like making stuff, and like my health is just like getting in the way of that,
Totally. Okay, so I'm just spitballing right now. Entertaining, bringing joy to other people, making them laugh, I assume, probably.
Yeah.
And what is, like, let's get, oh gosh, okay. I gotta like adjust for this. All right. So we're breaking it down a little bit. We're getting to like a little philosophical. Are you down?
Yeah, that's fine.
So you like to entertain, you're an entertainer. I come from performing as well. If you like to make people laugh, okay, you can totally call bullshit on this, but if you like to make people laugh, it's often because you see a lot of the pain in life. You see a lot of the shit that's not working. You can call a bluff a bluff. You can basically also make a fool out of yourself if you choose to make other people feel okay about themselves.
Yeah.
There's sort of that like comedian and comic and sort of the fool. I mean, the jester, right? Okay. So if we take that archetype, somebody who likes to perform, often that person behind the scenes, a lot of the time, are not taking good care of themselves.
Yeah.
They leave it all out on the stage. They give it all to everyone else. So we want to get better at filling up your tank. I also I'm going to want to understand, well, why have you been filling up this tank, the physical tank, versus maybe the emotional tank? So if entertaining is kind of the thing, it's the why. I want to perform. I want to entertain. Then I'm going to tailor whatever it is that's alive for you, whatever's coming up that day, that week, that month, and go, okay, maybe we do sort of an entertaining challenge. How can we take your health goal and somehow combine it with entertainment? You're doing it right now. I mean, we're doing it as we literally speak. But I would go even further and sort of challenge you, like, how can we do it in a maybe smaller way? It's not so mainstream. It's not for everybody, but it's like, hey, you gotta, find a funny anecdote about your health journey today, write one joke about something you have to do today, and send it to 10 people that you know.
Yeah.
And just sort of like get in the process and practice of taking your awareness about what you're doing with your health, going through the acceptance of the change you're making, and then the aligned action. How do I serve my goal, but how do I serve my values? How can I entertain on any level today while still honoring health? But the fact that you know what you want to do is huge. It gives us the purpose. It gives us the why. So I would just continually remind you, okay, remember, you want to be either in front of camera, on mic, or in stages, performing and presenting a version of yourself to people. Keep that in your mind, and let's just break that down. let's continue to get clearer about what can you do this week that supports both of those things.
Yeah. Like what would I don't know, what would that look like, I guess.
Well, okay, let's do it right now. Let's talk about your 5 core values.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1, what's your first core value?
What is there just like a
I mean, this is like any word that comes to mind when I think like, what do you care about? What has meaning for you? Who are you as a person? If like your best friend were to describe you, like what would they probably say in like 5 words? Or let's say 3.
I don't know.
There's no right or wrong answer, by the way. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but this is what the work is.
Yeah.
Let me ask you some questions, see if they fit.
Yeah.
Okay. A value. Entertaining.
Yeah.
Would you say that's true?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Let's go. Courage.
Yeah, I think somewhat. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll put that in the list. It's there because it takes a lot of courage to entertain and perform.
Yeah.
In terms of values, friendship.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know, I like making stuff with my friends, you know.
Creativity.
Yeah, creativity is definitely one of them.
Okay. Collaboration.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say so.
Community.
Yeah, I mean, that goes sort of with it, I guess.
Okay, so I'm gonna mirror back what I'm seeing in you. We would need to. I need to go. Like we need to have like a deep dive. I would put you in like
Yeah.
a visualization
Yeah.
because I want you to get more comfortable,
Mhm.
like being in yourself so much that like these answers come to the forefront.
Yeah.
And again, we're sitting here in front of a microphone and I'm asking what your 5 core values are. If you were to be
Yeah.
like, they're this, and I would be like,
Yeah.
holy shit. Okay. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
job. Like that's totally a test, if you will. But
Mhm.
the fact that we know a couple
Yeah.
that you like to collaborate with friends, you like to make stuff, you like to be creative, you like to entertain. So there's a sense of community inherent in all of those things. I can guess that you're, probably a pretty nice guy to the people that you care about.
Yeah.
So let's throw kindness into the mix. You know what I mean? There's a basic level of values for us to look at and go, okay,
Yeah.
so, if you like to create things and kindness is a value of yours and entertaining is a value of yours, then we're going to take a couple of those things and I'm going to say it's tough because if I'm being transparent, it's sort of like our intake session is going to guide me a little bit more. Like I'd be like, do you know your love language? Do you know what love languages are?
Yeah. I'm not sure which mine is. Honestly.
Okay, so quality time, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, and touch.
Mhm.
Those are kind of like the basic 5.
Yeah.
Is there one that sort of stands out to
Those
you that
all
you're
sound
like,
pretty good.
I mean, okay, so like all of them. So we're an equal opportunist. That's
Yeah.
amazing. We like that. If you were to say that you like to receive one of those things or give one of those things more, does anyone stand out?
Hmm. I mean, not sure.
Okay.
Not really sure which one I would. Can you repeat them again?
Acts of service,
Okay.
words of affirmation, physical touch, gifts. Oh God, I don't remember the last one either.
Fuck.
And quality time.
Okay.
I think I just went in order of mine, actually.
I don't know. Like like what I like to do for others, or what I like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even sure. Dude.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what this is telling me is we need to get clearer on what value you feel in yourself, and then we can list off the values in
Yeah.
words. So again, we would just need to I am going to cut through the shit and say that there's a version I'm hearing where you want me to tell you, like, what would
Yeah.
we do on your health journey that
Yeah.
feels aligned with, like, health is the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
There's more work we have to do before we get to that regimen, and it comes with you getting more familiar with yourself. We got to get you more in touch with Zach. We got to get you more into the narrative of, like, what does Zach like? What does Zach feel? What does Zach not like? I mean, a lot of those things I could be like, what do you hate doing? What do you hate doing?
What do I hate doing?
What do you hate doing more than anything in this world? It could be anything. I hate doing math. I hate math. I hate it so much.
I'm really fuck. I don't know. I don't like getting up early.
Okay, cool.
I don't like or being rushed into doing something.
Copy. So me asking you all these personal questions
Yeah.
right now in here is really making you feel good about yourself?
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, so let's pause. Let's pause because I don't want to leave any subconscious taste in your mouth that this kind of work would put you on the spot like this.
Okay.
What I want to instill is that by working with me, by working with a coach, we're taking time to go through all the layers. And what this is gonna, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. The word is called Sembu. You'll probably never forget it now.
Okay.
Sembu involves somatic, emotional, mental, behavioral, and unconscious choices.
Yeah.
What I would work on you with is going through all of those layers of your being.
Yeah.
Somatic. What do you like to do in your, like, what does your body like to do? Do you like cardio? Do you like stretching more? Do you want to dance? Do you like having sex? Do you like to drive? Are you a walker? Those are the kind of things like, that's just like bare minimum, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Somatic practices are like the things I told you. Visualization, meditation, EFT tapping. There's this thing I literally have people do where I have you tap your body and we say different mantras to be like, I am healthy. I am losing weight. And it tells your physical body, that thing I talked about, the amygdala, it tells the amygdala, you're safe to make these changes. You're capable of making these changes. Let's slow the body down. Let's stop it from stressing out. And let's get it to just believe for a couple minutes that it's more capable than it's believing it is.
Yeah.
That's somatic.
Okay.
Emotional. How do you feel about what you're doing? This is mostly conversation. This is me asking the questions. This is me every day going like, hey, what's alive for you today? What's coming up? What are you feeling stressed out about? What are you feeling anxious about? What are you feeling unmotivated by? What do you need? What do you need today? Being asked that question in and of itself is a huge hug to the heart. Okay. How many people are asking you on a daily basis, what do you need, man?
Not many.
Yeah, exactly. So to have somebody who's intentionally asking you what you need and then to hold space, it's hard to give you sort of like specific things I would do for you because I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what you would need, but on an emotional level, it's just unlocking feelings that you're probably storing that are contributing to you being unhealthy, to you making choices that aren't serving you, to you going for maybe, in the past, let's say like a cheeseburger instead of a damn salad. Not that I believe that that's the healthier choice always, but in the cliche way.
Yeah.
Let's get you aware of your feelings so that you can accept them. When you accept them, you will align your actions and make changes. Okay?
Yeah.
Mental, that's the visualization. That's me going, what are your values? What's your brain doing? What are you thinking about? If you're not thinking about the vision of who you want to be, then everything else is out of alignment, right? Like you can't like sit and do anything if you're not thinking about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we want to get clear about your thinking patterns. I'm going to go down into to the blocks. I'm going to be like, who do you admire? Tell me why you admire that person. Okay, what about that person do you possess? And what do you feel you don't possess that we can like rev up? Okay. Behavior. Those are like challenges. That's me being like, all right, man, we're doing a 7-day challenge. We're doing a, let's say a courage challenge. 7 days. Like I said before, I need you to send me some proof that you did something today that evoked courage out of you.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me what you think about it. You're going to tell me how you feel. And you're going to tell me, Julia, I felt courage today as I literally, told somebody that I'm trying to lose 5 pounds this week.
Yeah.
Seems kind of small and minimal, but you're really fucking moving your energy around to be like, I'm changing my behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting you to notice how you're changing your behavior so that you celebrate more of your wins, my dear. And then unconscious. Unconscious is all about acceptance. Unconscious is me going in there kind of more like therapy and being like, all right, who told you? Who told you that you weren't good enough?
Yeah.
Who told you weren't capable? When did we pick up that belief system? Where did you pick up along the way that being unhealthy was like okay and like your comfort zone?
Yeah.
Why did that make you feel safe at the time? All those things in combination change a person. So that's what I would do with you in terms of a health journey.
Okay.
Does that grok? Does that
no,
feel?
That makes, that makes sense. Yeah.
I say grok it. When people say, do you grok it? I say it. It's like an old philosophical term.
Never
It's like,
heard that before.
oh gosh, take it with you. Now when you like talk to people and you're like, when people understand a joke that you don't have to explain, they just grok it. They just like intuitively understand it. You want people in your life that grok it.
Yeah.
I would grok you more the more we kind of talk and around each other for me to know exactly what you would need.
Yeah.
That's a vibe.
Oh yeah. Lots of vibes. Definitely.
I mean, you're also putting me on the spot though, right?
Yeah,
like we're sitting here being like, okay, there's so many avenues. I would just want to get to know you a little bit more and be like, hey man, what do you want? What do you need? What do you need from me? That's the biggest question we always go back to in coaching is what do you need from me today? Because I'm not your nutritionist, right? I'm not your trainer. I'm not going to guarantee results. That's not my job.
Yeah.
My job is to get you to believe that what you want is possible. Yeah. And just to remind you as much as I can, you're totally capable, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty nice, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm like, God,
pretty sick.
When I say that out loud, I'm like, coaches are the best. Coaching is like hitting mainstream finally. I mean, it really hasn't had its moment. Therapy is finally kind of like found in like its form and collective conscience, but people don't know what coaching is, right? They just kind of think life coach. And again, it's sort of like, hey, you're telling people how to live. Like, what the hell gives you the right to do that? But again, I mean, hopefully I've sort of enlightened some aspect of the job to give you some clarity about like a coach is sort of just a glorified best friend.
Oh yeah. What made you really want to get into coaching?
Oh man. I'm like, you can clearly tell that I'm an expressionist. I like to talk a little bit. So let me condense this. I have been very self-aware since I was a very young child. I mean, like I'm that kid that was like 5 looking in the mirror being like, who is Julia? And you're like, my mom's kind of like, oh God, like how do we like deal with this one? I was just very existential from a very young age. And I was constantly sort of really invested in the human condition, as a teenager, constantly trying to find ways to understand myself. I've always been in therapy by choice. I mean, even as a kid, I was like, there's something about going somewhere and talking about how I feel that feels good. Whether or not I had depression or anxiety or ADHD, which I was diagnosed with each of those things, I enjoyed talking about my feelings. And as I got older, I translated that into performing. I became an actor and I was good at it, and so I stuck with that as a career only to go as far as realizing I'm doing something I'm good at. I'm not doing something that like really deeply fulfills me. And it's kind of a long story, but long story short, I quit a play. I'm driving home on the 101 and I'm just like, I am just done with this. I am not going to be a fucking performer. I had like quit a Shakespeare play of all things. Like, God forbid I'm like in Shakespeare, like the worst thing ever. And I just remember like calling my mom being like, I'm going to get a master's in psychology. I'm going to like help people because I'm that friend. And I have been since I'm the person. I mean, I do this literally with my own parents. I'm the person that people call when they need to work something out.
Yeah.
Like I've always just been that friend, like you call for advice or like you do something fucking terrible. I'm who you call because I'm never going to judge you. I've either done it or I just don't have the shame button the same way I think other people do in like an ethical way, of course. But you know what I mean? Like it was always there.
Yeah.
And even when I was an actor, I was getting hired in these like immersive theater productions where I was sort of just psychoanalyzing people anyway. And so they kept bringing me on because they were like, she's like a witch. She's like a psychic. There's this girl in these plays who like reads people and it's freaking scary. And I was like, why the hell am I not just getting paid to do this? And so I got a master's degree in psychology, but I did the thing that, is expected. I did the thing that is like more respected in society. I got the degree and I became a therapist and like got the piece of paper. Well, that kind of wasn't fun. It wasn't fulfilling. the back of my mind, I always had this damn little voice being like, and that's your intuition. Your intuition always knows what's right for you, okay? Zach, you hear me? That voice in your head that's telling you what to do, listen to that voice. That voice is going to get you where you want to be. Sorry, I had to say it. But that voice always told me you're going to be a life coach. And I was like, no, I don't want to be that. Everyone's going to make fun of me. You know, no one's going to take it seriously. But over time, timing fell into place. I got certified as a coach and it just all made sense. I mean, I get paid to be who I am as a human being. I just put a title on it. So coaching is a really fun way to help people. And as an entrepreneur, I love hosting. I love curating events. So I host retreats. I host workshops. I love speaking in front of crowds. I love podcasting. I just love talking to people about being human. So I chose a job that allows me to do that.
That's awesome. Like when you do like retreats, is that like so like are you like coaching like a bunch of people at the same time, or how does that like, or is there like multiple coaches? Like how does that work?
It depends. Certain retreats, I'm sort of like the main host and coach. So I'll be talking to a group of people and it'll kind of be like one big theme and I'm kind of educating them on a topic or a theme and I'm giving them some resources and tools. If someone has like a specific question, I'll work through that with them in front of everybody, or I'll say, come find me later and we'll work one-on-one in the time that we have, or you'll work with me independently as a new client. But for the most part, when I'm on a retreat, I'm working with everybody at large. And it's a little bit more kind of inspirational, motivational, and educational than it is tailor-made to like one specific problem. I will bring on other coaches who are more qualified to talk about certain things. So I bring on like sex coaches and pleasure coaches. They're going to talk to you about like pleasure play, about like for women, like, you know, how to like, I was going to say something that how to claim your power, right? And it's really how to claim your pussy, let's be honest. But, you know, it's just like these ways in which I could talk about those things, but there's somebody out there who's like more empowered to talk about those things. So I'm going to bring them on. Most of them are friends of mine. We all kind of live in one big community. But the best thing about retreats, it's an immersive, in real time experience of how you want to feel for, let's say, 3 to 7 days. So I always say retreat from the world to return to yourself. It's basically a glorified vacation, but with like this profound up-leveling impact. You know, you go on vacation, you're scrolling, you're drinking, you're eating, you're shutting down. On a retreat, you get like the luxury of amazing food, amazing beverages, beautiful locations, but you're also connecting with people who have the intention of making like lifelong changes. And you're able to feel like the person you really are and really want to be for that extended amount of time in a safe container, so that when you leave that retreat, you now know what the experiences is of kind of feeling like your best self. And you got to do that like in 7 or 3 to 5 days, maybe a week or 2. And then so when you go home, you're not necessarily starting from scratch and you're not sort of lost in that feeling of like, who is that person? You know who that person is. And you get to bring that person back home with you. Retreats are my favorite. I love it. It's truly my bread and butter. I mean, hosting is a vibe. And that's my favorite.
Oh, it seems really cool. Like, do you have a lot of people that it's like, they're just like coach, like pretty much just like, I want to please, like, is there a lot of like sex coaching? Is that like a thing?
Oh, yeah. There's like a coach for everything, honestly. I mean, and that's kind of probably why the stigma of like credibility maybe comes into play. But again, I mean, there's no universal licensing on coaching. I mean, there is like, you can get a number, you can get an identification code. I am certified by a recognized coaching like method company. So like I'm certified in a like mindfulness mastery method. Some of my friends will do, you know, a certification in like anatomy, sex history, and pleasure. I'll bring on like a sex coach who's like working one-on-one with a client being like, let's talk about your libido. Let's talk about your anatomy. Let's talk about how you're taking care of yourself. Let's talk about like, what does pleasure and sex mean to you? I incorporate elements of that. I mean, I literally live off of the philosophy of hedonism, which is like the divine reclamation of pleasure. Fuck hedonism, no offense. Like, let's indulge, but let's also like have some integrity about it. That in and of itself is my pleasure coaching. But there are people who are like more qualified to be like, hey, you know, let me talk to you about what this wand does to your, you know, vagina. Or like for men, it's kind of like, what is yeah, this I'm like going kind of all over the place, but it's like, let's talk about like the realness of a prostate. And let's
Yeah.
like debunk the shame of like why that feels good for some men and how
Yeah.
your partner can be supporting you in that. That in and of itself, conscious communication and an understanding of the things that you need. But yeah, there's a coach for everything. I mean, professions, business, money, wealth, empowerment, truly anything. That's why I say I'm a consciousness coach, because my job is to just widen the scope on what you're seeing and what's possible, and to get you inspired by the thing that lives behind your eyes, that little voice inside, to make you make changes. That's all.
Oh, it's fucking sick.
Thanks.
That's really
Appreciate
cool.
it. It's a good time. It's a fun life to live, I have to say. Yeah.
The other, so what time are we at right now? Oh, yeah.
I
I
know
wanted to
you're-
talk about the
You want to talk about the house?
yeah, I wanted to talk about that real quick. Yeah.
Yeah. I got you.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, so I saw the video where you found like the secret
Crawl space.
thing.
Yeah.
So tell us about that for everyone that doesn't
Oh,
know.
so funny. Honestly, I love that this is now like embedded into my
Yeah.
identity. So I was cleaning my house. I have a 1922 house over in Silver Lake.
Mhm.
Cleaning the house one day, it's like this coat closet.
Yeah.
And I noticed this like knob on the floor, this like little crystal knob. And I'm thinking like,
Yeah.
oh, I've noticed that before, but I just thought it was like a fixture. I never thought to do anything about it.
Yeah.
One day, out of nowhere, for no reason, I decide to like move it, to lift it.
Mhm.
And it lifts the whole floorboard. This is like a 5x5, I don't know dimensions. Let's just say it's like it's like the size of this
huge.
table.
Yeah.
It opens up this like floorboard to what looks like, the only thing I can describe, like the barbarian-esque, like cement broken through wooden staircase leading into a dark, demonized hole. And what was my first instinct? I go and I record it, obviously, because I was like, I'm not walking down it, but I'll take a video of it, of course. And so I'm like calling all my friends. I'm literally like live chatting it, being like,
Yeah.
I'm not going down, but like, what should I do?
Yeah.
And of course, the entertainer in me starts coming out being like, this is kind of insane. But then it starts to occur to me, no one ever told me about this. This is not in the blueprint.
Mhm.
My realtor didn't tell me. The old tenants didn't tell me.
Yeah.
And I'm going, yo, there's like square footage on this. Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
So my friend is like, you need to put this on TikTok.
Yeah.
We put it on TikTok, and within 2 days, mind you, I had 22 followers. I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah.
Within 3 days, I had 77,000, 3.2 million views on this video. I had decided to then go down. I had like a friend, I had a couple friends come down with me. And like, I'll just say right now, I mean, we totally like play up, you know, the emotion of the experience.
Yeah.
But what you see is like what happened.
Yeah.
We walk down and it's just this little like wine cellar almost. It's a concrete room. It's got all these like wood shelves. There's nothing down there but this small little like time capsule jar of inanimate objects that look like cursed items.
So weird.
No, dude, like I'm not even kidding. Like vintage cards. Like it looks like an old, like it's like an old mayonnaise jar. And everyone thinks I'm lying about this. And like, that's fine. It's whatever. But I literally was like, they had to have left this down there. It also has a sign in there that says it was fumigating in 1995. So I'm like, yo, the old tenants had to have known about this. They've been here for 35 years before me. I text them because we've been in communication. And I'm like, hey, can you please let me know like what this is? And if this is yours, they never text me back.
That's so
They
weird.
never texted me back. So I don't have more information about this other than around this time, some weird things start happening in the house. I had already known, mark my words, I'd already known the house was haunted. There'd been a couple weird instances, and everybody who walks into my house is like, yo, your house is a vibe. I'm like, I know. But I always say to the ghosts, I'm like, don't reveal yourself to me. But as long as we can co-collaborate here, like, we're good.
Yeah, yeah.
The week I opened up the damn crawl space,
Yeah.
the air conditioning starts like going off. The alarm starts going off all the time in the middle of the night. The what's it called? The air filter starts going off as if like somebody's burning something next to it. I mean, all these weird indications of things were going off. The lights are being left on.
Yeah.
And I just sort of let it happen, knowing that I'm like, something about this is crazy. But here's like the twist.
Yeah.
By finding this hole in my ground, in my house, it's going to sound so lame. So my podcast is called the Permission Portal Podcast. I talk all about like giving yourself permission to be human, whatever that means. By opening up this crawl space and talking about it on like TikTok,
Yeah.
it actually like brought on this huge audience and this platform of people who were now like knowing who I was. And of course, what do? I mean, I plug my podcast, I plug my business, and I'm like, sorry, I mean, I'm a person living in the world. How would I not do that?
Yeah.
It ended up becoming the ultimate permission portal because by talking about that experience on my podcast, I got featured in People magazine. I got featured in like The Sun, Variety. Yeah. I mean, all of these publications that then became like this permission slip for me to talk about myself, what I'm doing, and the fact that like by not giving in to fear, I discovered something beautiful in my house that became a really wonderful story. And now when people come over, the first thing they ask is if they can see the crawl space. So I'm basically now offering tickets when they come over to my house. But it was really cool. I mean, it was a really crazy, weird experience that I just see as being, you know, when you discover something, make the best out of it, right?
Yeah, definitely. No, you definitely did. That's so
freaking weird, though. I mean, like,
yeah,
you saw the video, like, it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's super
Imagine being home by yourself and you see that and you're like, I've lived here 3 years and this is what's down there. Yeah.
What would you
it's scary.
Like, have you ever heard of frogging?
No.
It's where like someone lives in your house without you knowing. Sorry.
Zach.
What would you have done?
Zach.
What would you have done if you went down there? And there's just someone down there.
I would have, I think, known, like, based off like how much space is down there. By the time we got down a couple steps, that someone was down there. I mean, I probably would have ran my ass up the stairs and closed it and called the cops, honestly. But I mean, I don't know. Like, there's a world where I'm like, I mean, if I'm being like my highest self, I want to be like, I don't know. I would have been like, are you okay? I would have been like, do you need help? Like, you gotta go. But like, how can I support you? That would have been like, what do you need? What do you need? I started like coaching them. I'm like, here's how we can get your life together. That's what I would have done. No, but hilarious. I probably would have ran away and cried.
Yeah. I would have too.
I mean, come on, right?
That'd be so scary.
Life is crazy. You just got to make the best of it and give yourself permission to do whatever feels right.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, my love.
It's been great.
It was a pleasure. And whatever happens next, I really want to leave you with belief that you are so capable of what you want. And I'm so excited and I celebrate you for making a choice that's totally going to make you feel free and happy and fucking fulfilled. Good for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime, man.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Well, as I said, I host the Permission Portal podcast. If you want to hear more about what I think about life and some ways to kind of up-level yourself without maybe doing the one-on-one work, go check it out. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I'm a coach. I host retreats. I do one-on-one coaching. I do group coaching. Find me at iamjuliahenning.com. And if you live in Los Angeles, I host these things called the Backyard Banquets once a month. It's a free event as of now, once a month, usually on Saturdays. It's in my backyard. And we literally, my co-host and I, Claire Chappelli, we just kind of do like a little like taste of what a retreat and a taste of what coaching is like. But it's sort of like a fun, immersive evening of just kind of like high vibe energy. Other than that, I mean, yeah, if you want me to come speak at your event or you're just looking to have a deep dive, find me at iamjuliahenning on Instagram. It's or TikTok. But honestly, you're just going to find the crawl space TikTok. That's it. I don't put any of my coaching stuff on there yet, but it's all to come. So yeah, that's about it.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
Stay maximum. God damn it, dude.
That's so, yeah, that's clutch.